பசுக்கள் எல்லாம் கோபாலன் குழலை கேட்டு நாடுபடி பால் கறக்குது ராமாரே. கோகுலத்து பசுக்கள் எல்லாம் கோபாலன் குழலை கேட்டு 4 படி பால் கறக்குது ராமாரே. அந்த மோகனனின் பேரை சொல்லி மூடி வைத்த பாத்திரத்தில் அந்த மோகனனின் பேரை சொல்லி மூடி வைத்த பாத்திரத்தில் 3 படி நெய் இருக்குது கிருஷ்ணாரே. ராமாரே ஹரே கிருஷ்ணாரே. ஹரே ஹரே ராமாரே ஹரே கிருஷ்ணாரே. கண்ணனவன் நடனமிட்டு காலத்தீயை வென்ற பின்னால் தண்ணி பாம்பில் நஞ்சுமில்லை ராமாரே. கண்ணனவன் நடனமிட்டு காலத்தீயை வென்ற பின்னால் தண்ணி பாம்பில் நஞ்சுமில்லை காராமாரே. அவன் கனிதலில் பால் குடித்து பூதகையை கொன்ற பின்தான் அவன் கனிதலில் பால் குடித்து பூதகையை கொன்ற பின்தான் கண்ணியர் பால் வஞ்சமில்லை கிருஷ்ணாரே. ராமாரே ஹரே கிருஷ்ணாரே. ஹரே ஹரே ராமாரே ஹரே கிருஷ்ணாரே. குளத்தில் முங்கி குளிக்கையிலே கோவிந்தன் பெயரை சொன்னால் கழுத்தில் உள்ள தாலி மின்னுது ராமாரே. குளத்தில் முங்கி குளிக்கையிலே கோவிந்தன் பெயரை சொன்னால் கழுத்தில் உள்ள தாலி மின்னுது ராமாரே. சேலை திருத்தும் போது அவன் பெயரை ஸ்ரீரங்கா என்று சொன்னால் சேலை திருத்தும் போது அவன் பெயரை ஸ்ரீரங்கா என்று சொன்னார் அழுத்தமான சுகம் இருக்குது கிருஷ்ணாரே. ராமாரே ஹரே கிருஷ்ணாரே. ஹரே ஹரே ராமாரே ஹரே கிருஷ்ணாரே. படிப்படியாய் மலையில் ஏறி பக்தி செய்தால் துன்பமெல்லாம் பொடி பொடியாய் நொறுங்குதடி ராமாரே. படிப்படியாய் மலையில் ஏறி பக்தி செய்தால் துன்பமெல்லாம் பொடி பொடியாய் நொறுங்குதடி ராமாரே. அடிப்படிப்பில்லாத ஆட்கள் கூட பாதத்திலே போய் விழுந்தால் அடிப்படிப்பில்லாத ஆட்கள் கூட பாதத்திலே போய் விழுந்தார் வேதத்திற்கே பொருள் விழுங்குது கிருஷ்ணாரி. வேதத்திற்கே பொருள் விழுங்குது கிருஷ்ணாரி. கோகுலத்து பசுக்கள் எல்லாம் கோபாலன் குழலை கேட்டு 4 படி பால் கறக்குது ராமாரே. அந்த மோகனனின் பேரை சொல்லி மூடி வைத்த பாத்திரத்தில் 3 படி நெய் இருக்குது கிருஷ்ணாரே. ராமாரே ஹரே கிருஷ்ணாரே. ஹரே ஹரே ராமாரே ஹரே கிருஷ்ணாரே.
Haribol Mataji, Danvat Pranams.
Mataji. Our translation, Salary.
Yes, Mataji.
Just a minute. Translation. In the divine abode of Gokul, all the cows thrive and flourish. Upon hearing the enchanting melodies of Lord Gopala's flute, they leap with joy, filling their surroundings with a cascade of fresh milk. By invoking the name of the captivating one, Krishna, stored lovingly in a vessel that has been carefully sealed, there lies pure ghee, an offering of 3 measures blessed by the essence of Krishna. Krishna swaying in captivating dance, victorious after conquering the mighty Kaliya serpent. All poison has been eradicated from the waters, and the serpent the sweet waters, once poisonous, have now become pure and life giving. This divine being granted milk from the clouds after vanquishing the formidable demon.
Is it over, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Wait, Mataji. Just we have one paragraph. In
Okay.
the serene waters, as they bath and rejoice by chanting the revered name of Govinda, the ornaments around the necks dance in harmonious rhythm. In the act of adjusting the attire, they mention Krishna's name. Whenever they utter the name Sri Ranga, invoking Krishna's name, the devotion bestows the most profound bliss and comfort upon them. Crushed to dust, replaced by bliss and divine joy, as they ascend the spiritual heights, one step at a time. With true devotion, they are liberated from all agonies. All miseries are utterly annihilated as the heart rejoices in divine love. Even unlettered folks lacking formal education, when they stumble upon the sacred path, even though without learning and wisdom, upon the humble arrival at the sacred threshold, the very essence of Vedas become clear to them as they connect with Krishna. Hari Hari Bol, Hari Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Danvat pranams. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that wonderful kirtan once again. Very nice. Hari Bol to you. So, very nice. So, Muthumanikam Prabhuji, would you like to sing the Mangalacharan Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Anjana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Sakshur Unmilidam Yena Dasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Tapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Tadadi Swapadantikam Bande Aham Sri Guru Sri Udapatakamalам Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sakrajadam Sakakana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Sabadudam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sakakana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vidam Cha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Gidi Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Bachat Desadarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauradvesha Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhuvaya Evacha Patilanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat pranams. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice. All right. So, with this, we will begin our class. Okay, let's do a quick recap of yesterday. So, what is the name chapter we are reading right now?
Chapter 6.
Part 2. Let there be temple part 2.
Hari Bol, yeah. So let there be a temple part 2, which is chapter 6. That is what we are reading now. Very nice. Okay. So quick recap of yesterday's class. Can someone summarize it in 2 minutes? Let's not have a detailed discussion, just the main points.
Srila Prabhupada met Mr. N at Mahadevia residence and asked about the money. If you are giving money, then we will vacate. And Mr. N shouted, and I will remove all the temples and other things from the place. And after 2 weeks, Mr. N died. Mrs. N not properly handled the situation, and their lawyers just scrutinizing her to make more problems. And due to the instigation of ISKCON, the Bombay High Court started the hearing of the case in Bombay High Court, and the conclusion not yet over by Bombay High Court. During the meantime, Srila Prabhupada asked his devotees to stay there like that. And at that time, the Mrs. N one day, without informing them, just mobilized dismantling groups, more than 100 people, and started dismantling the temple there. And from the Kirtana hall to devotee area, they started dismantling. And some Hare Krishna followers, permanent members opposed, and the police also handled the people very worse condition. And one devotee called Mr. Magadevia, and Magadevia approached his brother Chandra Magadevia, and Mr. Pal Thackeray called Pal Thackeray, and the emergency Hindu temple was demolished by Hindu people like that. The Hindu Parishad, Mr. Sada Jivatla, made something stunt, and the publicity made negatively against the devotees and against Prabhupada like that. And Mr. Jivatlal, Sada Jivatlal made his Vishwadhi Parishad office into ISKCON office. So protest, a lot of protest made, and the guidance of Mr. Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada at that time was in Calcutta, and he has given guidance, protest against them, and like that. And Srila Pal Thackeray ran to municipal commissioner. Due to your information only, they have gone for demolition the temple. But municipal commissioner don't know, and municipal commissioner sent the ward officer to vacate the demolition group. During that time, all the things were completed, all the demolition done. So nothing left out there. And after that, Prabhupada came and just hearing the case not concluded. That way we completed the
Haribol Prabhuji, very nice. You've summarized it beautifully. Wonderful, Prabhuji. So this is where we concluded. Let me share my screen. We will continue from there. We concluded here, right? In this page. Hare Krishna.
Page 241.
242, yeah. Till here we read. So this is what Srila Prabhupada wrote, right? The demolition of our temple by the municipality.
Jivatlal we came. We completed this one. We are
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah, till here we have read, right?
Yes,
Yeah. I'm doing just a recap of this, Prabhuji. This paragraph, which Srila Prabhupada wrote, right? I just wanted to read it once. So he says, The demolition of our temple by the municipality has strengthened our position. The municipality standing committee has condemned the hasty action of the municipality and has agreed to reconstruct the shed at their cost. Not only that, the temporary construction shall continue to stay until the court decision is there as to who is the proprietor of the land. Under the circumstances, we should immediately reconstruct the deity shed. Barbed wire fencing should be immediately done to cover the naked land. And if possible, immediately in front of the deity shed, a temporary pandal should be constructed with our materials. If it is so done, then I can go to Bombay and begin Bhagavat Parayana to continue until the court decision is there. This is my desire. Like this, Srila Prabhupada had given clear instruction, right? So everything we need is given here clearly. And this is where we concluded. So we'll start from here. Okay, so Valli Mataji, you can start first, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
If my voice is audible, I will read Mataji. You check.
Audible, Mataji.
Audible. Giriraja, working with Sada Jivatlal, tried to convince the municipal council to authorize the rebuilding of the temple structure. While doing so, however, he discovered that Mrs. N that had that very day, a Friday, filed for a court injunction preventing ISKCON from rebuilding. Justice Nain told Giriraja that he did not want to grant Mrs. N request and that he would hear the devotees case on the following Monday. This means that the devotees had from Saturday morning to Monday morning 2 days to rebuild the temple. The devotees reasoned that although they had no actual permission to rebuild the temple, there was as yet to allow no law to stop them. If Justice Nain ruled against them, then to rebuild would be very difficult. They decided, therefore, to use the weekend to rebuild. Mr. Lai, a farmer contractor, helped arrange materials, bricks, mortar, asbestos sheets. Mr. Sethi offered a crew of laborers. At 8 p.m. on Friday, the masons began their work, continuing throughout the night despite the rain. And on Monday morning, when the judge learned of the new temple, he declared, "What's built is built. No one can destroy the temple." When Prabhupada heard the news, he considered it a complete victory. The temple had been rebuilt and public opinion was swinging strongly in ISKCON's favor. Mayapur, June 1, 1973. Although the Mayapur building was not yet completed, Prabhupada had come there to reside. He took two adjoining rooms. One has his study and one has his bedroom. On the second floor, meanwhile, construction work continued in the temple room and in the other parts of the building. On his first day, then there a storm struck with massive black clouds and high winds. The storm was brief, however, and damage was minimal. I have just now come to Mayapur and my very hopeful to regain my strength and health on account of being is this transcendental atmosphere. Every moment we are passing here is in great delight.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranams. Thank you so much. Hare
Krishna Mataji.
Okay, Muthumanikam Prabhuji, would you like to continue next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mother. Hare Krishna. In the evening, the temple Pujari, Janani Vasa, would come to the Prabhupada's room with a day pot of red coals, frankincense, and fan the frankincense until the room was filled with the smoke. This was to drive out insects. But Prabhupada also considered it a purifying. Although he was sometimes disturbed by the workers hammering, he found the atmosphere otherwise peaceful. Only a few devotees were staying there, and Prabhupada gave his attention to translating or to speaking with the guests and to the devotees in charge of developing his Mayapur center. He would express his desire especially to Bhakti Bhavananda Maharaja and Jayapadaga Maharaja and worked well through them. The devotees living in the building with Prabhupada consider themselves a menial servants in Prabhupada's personal house. Of course, all the buildings in ISKCON belonged to Prabhupada, yet in Mayapur, that sense was intensified. Generally, the devotees in each particular center would raise money to support their center. But Prabhupada personally took charge of getting funds for Mayapur. He had begun a Mayapur Vrindavana trust fund, a donation from his disciples and interest from bonds and securing deposits. If money was misspent, energy misuse, or the building damaged in any way, Prabhupada would become very concerned. Now that he was personally on the scene, he often walked about giving detailed instruction and demanding that discrepancies be corrected. The pink and reddish building was like a huge transcendental ship, and Srila Prabhupada as captain would walk the wide veranda giving strict orders to all mates for keeping and everything ship-shape. Prabhupada felt affection and deep gratitude for those devotees dedicating their lives to the Mayapur project. One night he called Bhavananda to his room and began asking him about the devotee. Suddenly Prabhupada began crying. I know it is typical for all you Western boys and girls. He said, you are so dedicated serving here in my mission. I know you cannot even get prasadam. When I think that you cannot even get the milk and that you have given up your opulent life to come here and you do not complain, I am very much indebted to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranams. Thank you so much. Ekambar Prabhuji, would you like to continue next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Yes. Bhavananda, the marble workers lived in some chatai house right near the construction site. There was a hand pump just outside the building, and that's where we took our bath and where the workers got the water for the cement. Some distance off were two toilets, one for the men and one for the women. It was just two holes in the ground, and each hole surrounded by chatai wall. The storms and the rain would come, and we would have to sled through the mud in the fields to go to the toilet. There were snakes all over the place. It was wide. It was a construction site. No one lives on a construction site, but we did. Street of Prabhupada made us move there. It was good for us. No bathroom, nothing. Just open floors with concrete. Although the devotees endured the austerities of living at the Mayapur Central construction site, they sometimes felt it was too difficult. But Srila Prabhupada never considered it too difficult, and he would encourage the devotees. Mayapur is so unheard, we could live on the air and water alone. The surrounding grounds were rice fields, and to get to the temple building from the entrance of the property, a distance of more than 200 yards, devotees would have to walk on paths made by ridges of the earth that separated one rice field from another. The kitchen, which was made of tarpaulin and bamboo, was located near the entrance to the property. The devotees had to live without electricity much of the time. Since the power supply was often cut off, they would use kerosene lamps at night, and Prabhupada said the lamps should be taken apart every day. The wicks trimmed and the glass washed. In the future, he said, you should grow castor plants and crush the seeds and take the oil for burning. Prabhupada told the devotees how to build a temple dwellings. He also wanted them to build a wall with a gate along the front of the property. They should build small rooms, hutments. He called them against the wall. Devotees could stay in these simple cottages. They should plant coconut and banana trees. Even with the building incomplete, many guests were coming, especially to talk with Prabhupada, who patiently spent many hours each day of speaking but about Krishna consciousness with guests who came to inquire about his movement or who came only to talk about themselves and their own philosophy. Sometimes he would remark that an individual had wasted his time, but he never stopped anyone from seeing him. One wealthy Hindu man, Mr. Brijratan Mohata, and his wife, a daughter of multimillionaire R.D. Birla, visited Prabhupada from Calcutta. Srila Prabhupada took care in properly housing his guests, and he personally reviewed the menu and briefed his disciples on serving Mr. Mohanta and his wife. Offering prasading was an important part of the Vaishnava's etiquette. And Srila Prabhupada always stressed that the devotees immediately offer prasadam to visitors. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat pranams. Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hari Bol.
Hari
I
Bol.
will,
So happy to hear your voice.
I'll read it slowly. Huh?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. How much ever you can read, just read. Yeah.
Sure, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You should always be able to offer water, hot puris, and eggplant bhaji, fried eggplant, and sweets, Prabhupada said. Even when guests appeared shy, Prabhupada would insist they take a full meal. Mrs. Mohata, even though a member of one of the wealthiest families in India, was satisfied with the simple hospitality Srila Prabhupada and his disciples offered. The room she and her husband stayed in was unfinished, the slate floors hadn't been polished, and construction work was going on all around. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Mataji.
And
Very
the,
clear.
and the devotees could only offer them a mattress on the floor with a pillow. Yet they appeared to be quite satisfied and appreciative. Bhavananda, Srila Prabhupada introduced us to many of the details of Indian culture at Mayapur. In 1970, in Los Angeles, he had asked me to sew sheets together to make a covering for the rug in his room. And then he had gotten down on his hands and knees right next to me, and we had smoothed out the wrinkles in the sheet. So he had us do that same thing in Mayapur, where we put mattresses from one end of the room to the other with bolster pillows against the wall. Now you have white sheet covers, he said, and you change these every day. When Bengali gentlemen visited Srila Prabhupada in his room, they would sit on these mattresses around the edge of the room, their backs against the bolster pillows. It was very aristocratic. The whole mood was that he was the Mahant, the master of the house, the Acharya. But also the aristocratic Bengali gentleman saw that he was re establishing the old aristocratic mood from the early 1900s or 1920s. It was from Prabhupada's old days with the Malik family, and it was rapidly dwindling. At that time, you couldn't find a semblance of the old culture anywhere because all those families had become degraded and their wealth was gone. Hari Bol Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Wonderful. Hari Bol to you. Thank you so much.
Krishna Mataji, may I read?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. You can, Prabhuji. Hare
During
Krishna.
the summer visit, Prabhupada further revealed his vision for ISKCON's Mayapur development. The devotees were already aware that the plan was vast and would cost millions of dollars. They now had one building, but this was only the beginning. In the total plan, this building was almost insignificant. Prabhupada spoke about a colossal temple. It is a great dome rising above the transcendental city, the Mayapur. Chandrodaya Mandir would house the greatest planetarium in the world, depicting the universe as it is described in the Vedic literature. To execute such project, Prabhupada wanted to train his disciples in the Vedic arts, now dying in Bengal. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had been greatly interested in using dioramas to depict the Leela of Krishna and the Lord Chaitanya, and now Prabhupada wanted his own disciple to learn the art by studying under local Mayapur artists. In June, Bharadraja, Adideva, Murthy, and Isana arrived to begin to learn the art of doll making. Prabhupada also wanted his disciple to learn to make mridangas, and a potter began coming every day to teach Isana how to mold and fire clay vessels. The devotees converted Prabhupada's original stock cottage into workshop, and Prabhupada began inviting other disciples to come to Mayapur. Mayapur is already wonderful, being the transcendental birthplace of Lord Krishna. By utilizing Western talents to help to this place, certainly it will become the unique in the world. The Mayapur city, Prabhupada said, would be the fulfillment of the desires of the previous acharyas. The city would grow to a population of 50,000 and would become the spiritual capital of the world. With its gigantic temple in the center of the separate quarters for Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras. The city would be a molder for all other cities. The day would come when the world cities would be ruined and the humanity would take refuge in the cities molded after Mayapur. After Mayapur, the development of Mayapur would mark the beginning of Sri Krishna conscious world. Thus, the influence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would increase and his predictions would manifest in every town and every village. My name will be chanted. Prabhupada said the Mayapur should eventually become more
Prabhuji,
easily accessible.
Wait.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Valli Mataji can continue, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhupada said that Mayapur should eventually become more easily accessible by bridge from Navadvip Navadvipa by motor launch of the Ganges from Calcutta and from all ports by air. In Bengal, millions were by birth followers of Lord Chaitanya, and they would recognize and take up by Krishna consciousness as the pure form of their own culture. There is a saying, what Bengal does, the rest of India follows. So if Bengal become reformed and purified by the Krishna conscious example of American Vaishnavas, then all India would follow. And when all India becomes Krishna conscious, the whole world would follow. I have given you the kingdom of God, Prabhupada said to his Mayapur managers. Now take it, develop it, and enjoy it. June 27, 1973. From Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada went to Calcutta. He wrote to Tamala Krishna Goswami, there is a suggestion by Syama Sundar that I may go to London for meeting very important men there in the new house given us by George. But I want to make some definite settlement of Bombay affairs before I return to Europe or America. If there is a suitable place for me to stay for a few days in Bombay, I can go there immediately, and from there I may go to London. While considering his itinerary, Prabhupada passed some days in the Calcutta temple on Albert Road. He was very free about allowing people to see him, and his room was often filled with local Bengalis as well as his own disciples, seated on white sheet before him. In the evenings, he would go, even when it meant riding for miles through congested parts of the city, to spend an hour in someone's home preaching Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada's sister, Bhavatarini, known as Pisima to Prabhupada's disciple, would also visit the Calcutta temple to see her beloved brother and as usual to cook for him. One day, however, a few hours of eating her kachuris, Prabhupada felt sharp pains in his stomach. He closed his door and went to bed. His followers became very concerned. When his servant Shruta came into the room, he found him tossing. Srila Prabhupada, what's wrong? My stomach, Prabhupada replied. The coconut kachuri, it was not cooked. The Sri
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay,
Dandavat
Mataji.
Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Ekambar Prabhuji, would you like to continue next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. The Caesar continued all night, and several devotees continually massaged Prabhupada's body, especially his stomach. But with every breath he would moan. Prishima was standing by, but Prabhupada's disciples feared her presence, thinking she might want to cook something else for him, even in his illness. Prabhupada asked that the picture of Lord Narasimha be taken from the altar and put beside his bed. Some devotees feared that Prabhupada might be about to pass away. The next morning, when the illness continued, the devotees called the local Kaviraja Ayurvedic doctor. The old Kaviraja came and diagnosed Prabhupada's illness as severe blood dysentery. He left medicine, but it was ineffective. Later, when Prabhupada called Bhavananda into his room and requested fried puris with little patala, an Indian vegetable similar to a small squash, and salt, Bhavananda protested. Such fried foods would be the worst thing for him. Prabhupada said that this was the blood dysentery cure, and speaking to her in Bengali, told her to prepare puris and patala. A few hours after taking the food, Prabhupada again called Bhavananda. He was feeling better. My mother was right, he remarked. A lengthy telegram read from Shamsundra glorifying the preaching opportunities that awaited Prabhupada in London, where he would be picked up at the airport in a helicopter and flown to the main event, the great Rath Yatra ever held. The parade would proceed down Piccadilly Lane, climaxing under a large pavilion at Trafalgar Square. Let me strike while the iron is hot, he said. I think that is an English maxim. If you do that, then you can keep the iron in shape. In the West, people are fed up. So we want to give them spiritual enlightenment.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Lakshmi Mataji, will you be able to read?
I'll read, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada had immediately convinced his disciples with his forceful statements. There are two misleading theories in the West, he continued. One is that life comes from matter, and the other is that there is no life after death. You can just enjoy this life. They say everything is matter. So as this Krishna consciousness movement grows, the communist will be curbed down. People say they are trying for unity, but they have no brains to see how they will achieve unity. They have formed a big, complicated League of Nations and now United Nations, but they all fail. But this simple method of Ratha Yatra all over the world, it is spreading. Jagannatha means Lord of the Universe. So Lord Jagannatha is now international God through our ISKCON. Therefore, I want to go to the West and give them these things. Although Prabhupada appeared physically unfit to immediately fly to London to the active preaching that awaited him, his disciples submitted, accepting this as another miracle by Krishna. London, July 7, 1973. Paravida. It was Ratha Yatra day. I saw Prabhupada coming into the temple and he didn't look very strong. I was really amazed, but I could understand that his strength was something spiritual. Dhruvanatha. At the parade site, we were waiting to receive Srila Prabhupada at Marble Arch, where the procession starts. The Vyasasana was nicely decorated, and everybody was expecting Prabhupada simply to sit on his Vyasasana on the cart and just ride through the streets, just as he had done in the other Ratha Yatras. So it was to our great amazement and joy that when Prabhupada came, he refused to sit on the Vyasasana. He indicated that he would dance and lead the procession. Yogeshwara. They brought stairs up so Prabhupada could mount the Ratha cart and sit down on the Vyasasana. But he waved them off and just started walking with the chariots, leading the dancing. Dhira Shanta. I twisted my ankle and couldn't walk, so I rode on the cart. Therefore, I could see Prabhupada very clearly. Revati Ananda Maharaja was chanting into the microphone from the cart. But after about 15 minutes of the procession, Prabhupada told the devotees to tell Revati Nananda Maharaja and others to come down and lead the Kirtana in the street with him. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranams.
Pranams, Mataji, Hare Krishna. So we'll stop with this today. We will continue the rest of it tomorrow from page 250. Hare Krishna. So I just wanted to quickly make an announcement that this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be traveling. I will not be available. I just wanted to check if will anyone be able to share screen and play the role of a co-host. Then I can still try to conduct the class, but I will not be able to do it because I will be traveling. So I need someone to share screen and present the book like how I'm doing now. I will share the book, but you'll have to share screen and show the book for others to read. So will any one of you be able to do that? Hare Krishna. Okay, so then in that case, tomorrow we will have our class, and after that, our next class will only be on Monday because I will be traveling on Thursday and I will be returning back only on Monday morning. So Monday night onwards, we will continue our class. So tomorrow we will have class as always, and then our next class will be on Monday. Right? Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय थैंक यू एवरीवन हरे कृष्णा धन्यवाद प्रणाम्स
Hare Krishna.